Virat Kohli will be extremely happy with his decision to bat first after winning the toss. India getting to 358 runs for 9 wickets. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. And there you go, Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. A brilliant opening partnership. Shikhar getting 100, Rohit just missing out narrowly on what would have been his 23rd ODI century. Rishabh Pant with some fireworks towards the end, 36 of 24. And for the Aussie bowlers were really not much there for them. Pat Cummins doing a bit of a comeback and getting a 5-4, but really a small consolation. But of course, super exciting batting by the Indians. And you'd have to say the most exciting out of them all, Jasprit Bumrah with a strike rate of 600, gentlemen.
Yeah,
one ball, 6 runs.
He's going to walk back and say, "What's the fuss about all about this? Just go in there and hit the first ball for a 6." It does tell you a couple of things.
Yeah.
What a good position India is in when he walks in, and what the wicket is like.
It's his first 6 in international cricket.
Is it?
Yeah, his first. You're like, okay, that means the wicket is that good for batting. It's even better than you think.
Yeah, it must. It is. I mean, it's one of those wickets that batsmen love batting on. The ball's coming on nicely. The opposition had 1 or 2 pure fast bowlers, but the start wasn't great for the Australians. Shikhar Dhawan, who'd been struggling with form, gets 3 boundaries just off his legs to start off every over boundary. And I thought the Australians didn't start off well, and that allowed India to. And once you had that partnership, there was no looking back.
Yeah, Shikhar, when he was getting those on his leg, I have a very trained palate. I'm a connoisseur, gourmet. I love eating Michelin star meals. We call those, that's like an amuse-bouche or like a palate cleanser. Those were like palate cleansers, right? Just getting you ready for the main meal.
You had seen it before he started, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd seen it. Today I had been.
First you got to tell us how
today,
do you see this?
Today you've been very relaxed.
Yeah, I have been. So every Saturday night when you guys go out to party, I sit and polish my crystal ball.
Okay.
And that's not meant to mean anything else, but all us, future seers have a crystal ball. So I polish that and then I see the
I think
future.
you're putting too much pressure on yourself going forward.
Only on Sundays.
Yeah, only on Sundays. Most of the matches are played on Sundays, isn't it?
Because
they usually don't miss matches on Sundays.
Yeah, because through the rest of the week there's so much pollution and the crystal ball gets foggy. So Sunday morning it's clear. So I got it right. 193 opening partnership. But on a serious note, really good, Ajay, because these two, we had shown some stats before that the opening partnership was not yielding the runs that India has gotten used to, and today that puts an end to all of that, and it's just great to see. This is service as usual for Rohit and Shikhar.
Look, if they can do this, there is not much left in that game left, because it's only a 300 ball game.
Yeah.
You've got 11 players to bat. If the top 2 guys use up 186 balls and get the number of runs that they've got in 193 in today's case, what is left? For the rest of the batting, they got about 115-20 balls with 9 wickets in hand. You can go
swing for the fences,
do whatever you want. Even if you lose a couple of wickets in the middle or at any stage, you're never out of the game.
Yeah.
And so that is why everybody keeps harping on people who watch cricket and watched over the years. Start is important. What does that mean? This is what it means. You get to 350. Yes, the wicket is much easier than the last couple of wickets. But, if you got a 193 start even on a wicket which wasn't such a good wicket in Ranchi, Australia got that. See what happened there.
Yeah.
You clawed back your way so hard, but still you could hold them back at 313. The difference is 30, 40 runs here. That's because of the wicket.
Because of the wicket. This surface... Zach, give your opinion on the surface to people who are thinking, 358, 313 was enough in Ranchi, 358 is more than enough in Mohali, but that's not the case.
Yeah, because conditions matter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And today's conditions are in favor of batsmen. So that's going to be very critical when Indian team is going out there to bowl. Yes, 350 plus scores always works you as that confidence of defending that, because you've done the hard yards. So even if the conditions are in favor of batsmen, you will have that confidence of winning the match. But you've seen in international cricket there've been high scoring matches.
Yeah.
And if the start is good, if the platform is set, and that's by platform I'm saying going in the last 10 or 15 overs, if Australian team has wickets in hand, and the required run rate is even if around 10 runs per over. I think on these kind of track you cannot relax, because then as a bowling team you start to feel that pressure. That is it one of those days where the conditions are so much in favor of batsmen that they can do it. They have the impact of Maxwell also at that stage in the innings.
Because India got 91 in the last 10.
So from the Indians' point of view, I think it's very important that not to let this game go to that situation. And that you can determine only in the first 15, 20 overs, say 25 overs. You got to have that grip on the game so firm that Australian batting is not even thinking of getting close to the total. So that is going to be the key. If the way Finch and Khwaja have been batting in the last couple of ODIs, they've been giving them that start. If you have that start, then the platform is set. So you don't want to give them that kind of a platform. So I think of all the days, today it's going to be very crucial that that fifth bowler, from India's point of view, that fifth bowler has not been put under pressure. And how the fifth bowler is not been put under pressure, more often than not, you've seen that if you've taken wickets up front, the job of the fifth bowler becomes easier.
And today the fifth bowler is Vijay Shankar and Kedar Jadhav. I mean, it's two to fill up the fifth bowler things. The interesting stat is that India, whenever they've scored over 350, have always managed to defend it. So India's never lost. I think it's 20 plus matches and India's never lost that. But the interesting stat also to see will be if Australia's ever got over 350. While we tell you that, let me tell you just a few days, well, I think about a week, 10 days ago, there was an ODI in West Indies where England got to 400 and something, 413,
381, I think, close to 400.
413 and
Chris Gayle scored 150 plus, right?
150 plus, and West Indies almost got there. It was like one Adil Rashid over. So these days with one day cricket, if it's a batting wicket, Ajay, fair to say that you can't really rest easy by thinking, oh, it's 350 plus. Historically, we've always defended it, but that accounts for nothing when you go out to bowl the first ball.
Oh, of course. I mean, no matter what score you've got to, the opposition always has a chance. But what happens with 350 plus scores is that unless they get a start like India, I'm saying you put Australia at, what is your crystal ball saying? We got to ask you.
I'm saying it's going to be a 100-run partnership.
100 runs. So 100 run would still keep India in the game. But if you get anywhere close to 180, say if you lose first wicket at 180, Australia loses, then they will be in the hunt. Like Zach said, if they get to a stage in the game where you're at the end of the game, they have a chance to get there with wickets in hand, and run rate is beyond their control, that should not be a problem. The problem that India needs to create for them is wicket up the order. Because even if they're going 8 and over and you have 4 down for 80 in 8 overs, you win this game. But if there are no loss, you don't have to go far. Look at today's innings. When Rohit and Shikhar started, it was, it was easy going. It wasn't that you saw 360 from over number 3. It was, Shikhar was actually, he got going much earlier. He got a few balls. Rohit was almost 8-10 off 30 odd balls. So the solidity of the start on a wicket like this is more important. Whereas when we were playing in Ranchi, I said just the opposite, and people may be wondering. There the solidity is not that important, because even if you have the wickets in hand, at the end it is going to be impossible to get runs off consistently. So there you need to have a faster start and a quicker start. On a wicket like this, or when you're chasing such a big total, you actually need solidity. And I'm talking from Australia's point of view.
So, it's simply to just round that up. The asking run rate you can always reduce, but the wickets fall, you can't reduce those. So that's why you keep those in hand is the key for Australia. And for India, it's pretty simple. The key is that Bumrah and Bhuvi have to get you a couple of wickets in the first 10. Right, it's really simple math there, because it doesn't matter if you leak 5 or 6 runs and over, 6 runs and over even. If it's 60, even 70 for 2 at the end of 10 overs, it's advantage India more than advantage Australia.
And I hope that dew is not a factor in today's match, because we've seen little bit of reverse swing as well towards the end of the innings. So that should help Bumrah and Bhuvi in the back end of the innings. But if dew is a factor, then that reverse swing won't be on offer.
Then you got a problem. And then with your wrist spinners, if there's too much dew, you've got a problem there as well. But Bumrah, of course, will be confident after his great batting innings.
Right? There's no doubt about it.
One ball, 6 runs. You've got to carry that confidence into the bowling effort. You have, for the Australian bowlers, a quick word before we round that up. For the Australian bowlers, obviously a day you want to forget. Zach, any time you've given over, and I know as a bowling unit, there have been days when you're playing on wickets like this. You know the surface is a batting surface, but how do you like just placate yourself after that? Because the runs given are a reality, whereas conditions, are an intangible, right? So how do you make yourself feel up in morale when you come back into the dressing room when it's such a batting advantageous wicket?
It was a tough day for the bowlers, and then that bowling card also was suggesting no one was under 6 runs per over.
Yeah.
So it's one of those days. So as a bowler, you just got to be able to hit that erase button.
Yeah.
That's important. How to get the confidence out of this is what are the processes which you have done right. As I think that's the learning you can take it from these kind of matches, wherein if you face these kind of situations again, what should be your mindset? Like someone like Pat Cummins will be very happy with the fact that he stayed in the hunt.
Yeah.
He kept taking those wickets. So on these kind of surfaces, you are bound to get hit for runs. How you can reduce that damage and how you can reduce that number of boundaries and sixes.
Were they really wavered with their line and length?
Not really,
that much,
not
right?
really. Yeah, not really. I think it's a kind of surface where as a batsman you can trust the bounce, and that's what makes it hard for bowlers to counter.
Yeah, so what is India going to do then? I mean, because then that's a challenge, right? I mean, even if you're bowling right line and length, if the batsman can read the conditions well and sort of hang in there and not be in a hurry.
So in these kind of situations, it really matters what kind of field sets do you have.
Good point.
So if you look at that Australian bowling innings, you'll find that at some stage they were making those errors of setting the fields, wherein they had mid on mid off up in the back end of the innings as well. I think on these kind of surfaces that call is not a great call.
Okay.
Because there is not enough bounce in the wicket.
Yeah.
So you've seen those couple of shots which Vijay Shankar also hit. He was able to back himself to play those shots because mid on and mid off both were up in the circle.
And it's a small boundary anyway. So.
And there is not enough bounce. If you had the bounce in the wicket, then those shots are tough to hit.
Yeah.
The balls can go in the air and you can get out. So in that sense, they've not been proactive. So I think you have to create situations and scenarios on these kind of days where you get fielding placements and angles into play. Because what really hitting boundaries and sixes is easy on these kind of surfaces. So as a bowler, if you can negate that, if you can reduce that percentage, if you can just have 1 or 2 boundaries saved just by smart field placements, I think that has an impact of that 15-20 runs, which is also huge in these kind of matches.
Well, it was obviously a very good day for Shikhar Dhawan. Shikhar Dhawan got his century, and he had, the last 17 innings he had not had 100. So he, of course, would feel really good about it. And Mohali is a ground where, he likes Mohali. He likes batting there. So today, as you saw, he got 143 of 115 balls. He also accelerates his strike rate a lot after he gets his 100. I think it's 144 is his strike rate. So which means he really accelerated the rating up. But he does well in Mohali. Ajay, that happens, right? Sometimes you just go to a ground, you just like one ground more than the other.
Yeah, because the conditions, going back to it, he got 100 when I think he started his
Test career here, yes.
The big 180 against
yeah.
Australia. Where the ball comes on, it works better. I talked about him the other day. The other common things that you see at ICC games and this match is the wickets are almost batting friendly.
Yeah.
So when there is a wicket where it's batting friendly, his game works much better.
Yeah, because his punches come into play and
because then he's more dangerous. Because you saw KL Rahul, come in at a later stage, or Virat Kohli come in. So they would probably work in a similar fashion no matter what kind of wicket it is, because they adjust much better. Whereas Shikhar has a flow that he works on. His foot, if you see, they were showing a couple of different shots from different game, different conditions. His foot is always at the same place. It's the hands that work much better.
Yeah. And
hands work better when the ball is coming at one pace and one bounce. And that is what really suits. I think that's one of the things that works at Mohali. And maybe this is a ground, he's grown up in Delhi. He's played a lot of Ranji Trophy before he got into the Indian side. He's played junior cricket under 19. And if you're playing for Delhi, you play a lot of games in Mohali.
Yeah.
There is a lot of first class or the tournaments below that you get to play on this ground. So sometimes you have good memories as well.
Yeah.
And those memories have been created because you've scored runs over the period. And the wicket is something that works in your favor, your style of play. And that just, comes out. And I think today was probably almost, it was almost at the end. everybody's been thinking whether is he going to play the third match or not. Then he fails and then say, is he going to play or not? So sometimes as a player, as a batsman, I think this really works, is when you have nothing to lose, you actually come out all guns blazing. Because, what is going to happen? Worst is that you're going to get out. When you get to that stage, I think it's a eureka moment in batsman's mind sometimes, and I think that's what probably happened. And he was lucky with a couple of boundaries off his legs.
Yes, so there you go. It's when people feel you're at the end of your rope, you use that end, turn it into a little noose, and hang the bowlers by it, and that's what he did. And since we're talking about memories and good memories in Mohali, there's one gentleman here who's got some good memories in Mohali. I've made a little photo montage for you as a homage. This is, I think, 2010.
Yeah.
You remember this test match in Mohali. Can we play the pictures, please? I have lovingly curated them. There you go. Zach, who are you sending off there? Who's the first one you were sending off? So you, of course...
That wasn't my wicket, who I was sending off.
8 wickets for you in that test match. Lakshman, of course, there. Lakshman got runs as well. You were man of the match in that one.
Yes.
Yeah? Lakshman, you didn't share it with him. He did well as well.
But he deserved the man of the match because if had we lost that game, then obviously the man of the match would have gone to the winning side.
Yeah.
So he made sure that we win the match. He had a great partnership with Ishant Sharma and then with Oja as well. To make sure that we win that test match. On the whole, I think Mohali has been one of those grounds for me where I've always had seen success.
Yeah.
There was reverse swing on offer, and the whole season, I was in good rhythm. So good memories all around. But I think that match, it was very very special innings which Lakshman played in the second innings to win that test match.
But what was no DRS then, right?
No.
No, because that last ball when we won, it was off Oja's pad, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Neil Johnson bowling right in the center. If you had DRS in those days, that could have gone the other way.
Was it Mitchell Johnson?
Mitchell Johnson, I think.
Mitchell Johnson, yeah.
Today you're doing this with names, huh? You made Vijay Shankar into Ravi Shankar, you made Mitchell Johnson into Neil Johnson.
We are only you
said Neil Johnson.
I apologize.
We are only going to work with surnames with you today.
Apologies.
Now, but what was going on when he was batting in the end over there, of course, Lakshman, what was going on in the dressing room at the time?
Well, just nervous. Everyone had their chances and they were sitting in the dressing room, including me. so just hoping that somehow just make sure that they're there. But I think these it was a very close match. So that's something which gets everyone on their toes. Suddenly the nervous energy in the dressing room goes up, and it was great actually to win that match because we've done all the hard yards in the match. But it all comes down to that one moment, isn't it? If you're not able to close that moment, and Lakshman has been used to that. He's played so many knocks, which and he used to get going in tough situations. So that's something which worked for us.
Yeah, he really. I mean, for VVS, a lot of his batting career has been the tail of the tail, right? The TALE of the TAIL, right? Because he's had to bat with them so much.
He would always hold the inning together at the end because, great player that he is, but he was in an era where you had Dravid at 3, Tendulkar at 4, so he didn't get many opportunities to bat right at the top. I mean, except for that game in Calcutta in that second innings where he could get 281. Yeah. But he was left with the tail because if you bat at 6, the best opportunity that you'll have is at the start of that innings because you'll have somebody before who's batted and everybody behind you is not as good as or they're not in the side for their batting. So he would, rally around them, and not just this game. I mean, there's many games you can think of where Lakshman's still hanging around and takes it to the end and wins you a test match.
Scruffy, he's a fighter, is VVS. Well, today, somebody will have to do that for Australia, if Australia has to win, because as you saw, India, of course, lost 9 wickets. When you get to 358, a big score like that, you will end up losing wickets, especially if you got a good start. So the bowlers will probably have to, be ready to bat as well if they have to. But there will be 1 or 2 key innings, right? You will have to get 359. You've got to have 2 guys who get close to 100, or 1 guy gets a big 100. Who are the guys you are backing? Who are the guys you are backing to get those? This is also a guessing game only, I guess. right? Because it's evident. If you got to get
Get
358,
runs
two
or
guys,
to get backing to take them to the win. Because runs, I can guarantee you, Sean Marsh will get runs today.
Oh, okay.
In a big game, he'll always hang
Also
around.
loves Mohali.
Yeah, he loves
Played
Mohali.
a lot at Mohali.
This works beautifully for him, and the total is so daunting that he can take. He will be around. But I don't know if that runs will get Australia to the target.
I love that point.
See, one guy will be under pressure for sure, even though he has scored runs in the previous innings, is Finch.
Yeah.
Because Bhuvneshwar is back. Bhuvneshwar is the one who has been troubling him in Australia.
Yeah.
With the ball coming back in. So that
all 3
one
ODIs
thing
in Australia
is going to go in India's favor when they're going in to defend this total. From Australia's point of view, of all the matches, I think Maxwell is going to be playing a huge role. It's very important that, because this game looks like is going to go down to that stage where the required rate might go 10 or 11 towards the later half of the innings, and at that stage, if you have to win matches, you need power, and that power, Stoinis is not there. It's definitely going to be a huge blow for Australia, particularly scoring this kind of total. So they are just left with Maxwell to have that impact, because as Ajay was saying, in the middle overs, Sean Marsh will be taking time.
Yeah.
Khwaja, the wicket will be suiting his style of play. So he's the one who can be a danger man for India, because he's in form as well. But apart from that, I think the middle overs, when the spin twin is bowling, it's the game is going to be a little slow. So that makes even more important that how they set it up for the back end of the innings.
Shikhar Dhawan did mention post his batting innings that we've got these runs on the board, pressure on Australia, and that he feels like the wicket will get slower as the evening progresses. And if that happens, then of course advantage India.
I don't see how it slows down once the sun goes down, but Shikhar's there, so I don't think it'll slow down, but the 360 or the score that we have at the moment is the daunting score. Whatever is going to happen is because of the runs on the board, whereas all the conditions that you see can only get better for batting. Because once the sun goes down, whatever the surface is, it can't get more aggressive. There is no sun baking it down. So in fact, it cools down and comes on better. If there is dew, then that same thing gets exaggerated.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the wicket. That can happen, but sitting here, I don't know. There may be something new. But it'll be the score that is going to be the daunting part. How it is the scoreboard that's going to do. First 2-3 overs are going to be cracking to watch. We don't want to miss them today.
Yeah.
Because either, like he said, Bhuvneshwar is going to get Finch very early, or Finch is going to get after us. So I don't see the wicket slowing down.
But poor Finch. Bhuvi gets him with it going out. Bumrah gets it with him going in. बच्चे तो कहाँ बचे?
वो आज वही है, लेकिन आज की विकेट ऐसी है कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि पहले 5-6 ओवर में आप बचने को भी देख रहे हो, क्योंकि इतनी जोर से इधर से उधर से भी पड़ सकती है. लेकिन मैं जैक के साथ हूँ, अगर स्विंग होगी अंदर तो अभी टेक्निक तो वही चल रही है.
Yeah, that will be a problem. By the way, there's another instance where a 6 was hit by number 11 on the last ball, and you were in that match. It was Venkatesh Prasad. I think he did that in Nairobi. Where he hit against Australia only.
Against Australia, okay.
Yeah, we hit a 6 of the last ball.
You've gone back in 2000.
Venky, number 11, of course.
Venky's hit a 6?
Venky's hit a 6 as well.
Missed that.
And a first ball 6, like
off?
that, boom. I don't know who it was off.
Must be Glenn McGrath in those days.
I remember I had a partnership with Venky in that match.
Sorry?
I had a partnership with Venky in that match towards the end.
And what was the conversation in that partnership?
That was my first series. Venky was
He was still talking.
Isn't it enough to speak?
Like, Bhaiya, what do I have to do? Just hang around and watch me.
Just watch me.
Just watch me hit a 6. Also reminds me of Ashish Nehra's 6 of, but in Lords, that he hit Flintoff, I think.
Reminds
See,
me
both-
what
There's a lot of celebration when a number 11 hits a 6, right?
Both Venky and Ashish Nehra took a lot of pride in their batting.
Yeah.
So if you
All-rounders.
laugh at them hitting 6, they won't be happy.
No,
not laughing.
You clap.
Yeah, even if you clap.
But Venky, but Venky's
Even if you clap, they're not happy. You think I can't do it? You think my technique is bad? So
Venky would not remind you so often, but Ashu will. I mean, Ashu 6, we've been reminded of many a times.
I've been reminded so many times.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, how did you forget?
No, I can't forget.
Ashu hit Flintoff for a 6 at Lords.
Yeah. So Ashu
And the ball is still travelling.
Ball is still traveling. We're still hearing that. And the player who has hit a six like that on that ground, he compares it with
Viv Richards. Ashish Nehra comparing his batting to Viv Richards.
Only two players have hit the ball there in that area.
Yeah.
It's Viv Richards and Ashish Nehra.
It's like it bounced first in St. John's Wood and then went to Maida Vale. And now it's lying somewhere in the Thames or something. It's floating down. Yeah. Well, you know, batsman. And today also you saw a lot of applause happening when Bumrah hit that six. Okay, well, it's time for us to go right now. We're going to wrap it up. Australia need to get 359 to level the series at 2-2 and take it to the last game on the 13th. Can they get it? Can they not? Quick guessing game. Who you backing?
You got to back India.
We'll say that in Cricbuzz box at the 15-over mark.
You're not committing right now.
See, he has a chance.
I don't know, because the last match, I think that series, Australia-India series, you know, when Faulkner was in good form and he was hitting those centuries and stuff.
Yeah.
Today's game reminded me of that series. So that's why I just want to be a little cautious.
Oops.
And my predictions are not going as good as yours today.
Okay.
So maybe I should listen to
His crystal ball is hazy. Saturday night he's had a lot of haze.
Some haze on the crystal ball. He cleans this on Monday morning. Tomorrow he'll clean it for the next game. Alright, it's time for us to go. Before we go, quickly going to show you the joy factor question. We'll just put that up on the screen. It was a very simple one. I know a lot of you probably have already got it right. We haven't checked yet. But for those who didn't get a chance to play it before, here it is. The only Indian cricketer to captain India in all the tests that he played for the country. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Send in your answer. We're going to see you at the end of the 15th over for the Sri Lankan Airlines and Visit Melbourne present Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.